So Bob Heilig, I'm doing this. He does your virtual upline, which you guys have heard me talk about before. His podcast is awesome. It's free. What's up, Kayla? Oh my God, look at all the faces on the screen. I'm so excited, guys. This is great. So I'm doing this Bob Heilig training, and he's just fantastic. Like, he's a top multi-level marketing. He's been in actually all kinds of different companies, and he's been at the top of all of those companies. And then he decided, well, since I'm so good at this, I am going to step out into coaching and teach other people how to be good at it, which is great for us because he's a wealth of knowledge. And in less than a year, he's built $1 million coaching business. Like, he hasn't even been doing it a whole year. That's how good he is. So he's, the more that I was looking into his things, he was really the only person that didn't give me like an ick factor when I would listen to him or when I would see his things. So when he started talking on his podcast about, I'm going to do this new thing, we're heading sort of in a different direction. They're still doing the podcast and that kind of stuff, but he's like, we're going to do this new thing, and I'm really excited. So it was this Legacy Leadership Academy, and it's the very first round. And so he has like all this leadership training, but he also has social media training, and he's been popping on and doing live videos in our group this week. And I've already seen so much of a difference in my engagement, in my post reach. And the bonus of that, one of the things that he says right off the bat is, your company is probably telling you to post up to like 5 times a day, right? Which is what we hear. We've always been taught 3 to 5 times a day. He's like, I'm saying at max 2 to 3. Yes, because that's much less time that we have to spend coming up with stuff to say, right? Which is so good. I mean, it has to be quality content. We can't just be posting 2 to 3 times a day on like just throwing up a post for the sake of posting, obviously. But one of the things that he works with you on is, coming up with quality content and kind of, honing your message and that sort of thing. And then how to make the engagement on those so good that there's not another need to post. So like, for instance, yesterday I did a live video, and I did it on purpose in the middle of the afternoon when I know it's absolutely dead and nobody's ever going to respond to anything. But I followed the formula that he gave me, and I had on that one live video probably 3 times the amount of live viewers than I ever get at any time, and tons of comments, tons of, little things. And even today, even this morning, and that was at 3:00 yesterday afternoon. So I didn't really post anything after that. And even today, well into the afternoon, people were commenting on that video, and it's up to like 800 and some views. I've never had that before. Right? So it's crazy what this guy's teaching, and the fact that you can do less and get more, which is what we all need, right? Because we're busy. We're, full-time workers and all this other stuff. So I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that he has. But part of this training is he has a thing called the social media recruiting formula. And it's one of those, like, you can go to his website and buy it for like $37 or something. But it was included in my leadership academy. So since I think it's going to be so helpful, it's a 4-module thing. So for the next 4 weeks, I want to kind of go through those modules with you guys. That you don't have to purchase it. I'll just go ahead and upload the documents and that kind of stuff, and we'll go over it on our calls. And I think it's going to be really, really helpful for you guys, because he's very no nonsense, and he just sort of breaks it down into like, here's ABC, and let's just cut the fluff, which is awesome because nobody has time for that. So Module 1 is called The Ingredients for Massive Success. And there's basically 3 parts to it. It's we're going to talk about the role of social media. We're going to talk about focus and consistency. And we're going to talk about the basic principles of recruiting. And that can be either like team members, fellow coaches, or just, people to bring into the business as a customer. So, okay, so the role of social media, and this is so interesting how he breaks it down, and he's so cutting edge on his marketing and stuff. So a lot of us social media is either the greatest asset or the greatest enemy of our businesses, right? And a lot of times for most of us, it's the enemy, because we're like, God, I'm doing so much stuff and I'm posting so many things and nothing's happening, right? So it's because we don't have a clear understanding of the core concepts of marketing. Because the thing with social media is it was not actually developed to sell. It was developed to foster social interaction among people. It's not, made for business. So a lot of the tactics and stuff that we're taught to use are marketing tactics, and Facebook doesn't like that. It just doesn't jive with how it was made. And I'm talking mostly about Facebook because that's the platform that most of us use. I mean, these concepts will be relevant across different types of social media, but Facebook is the main platform. I mean, everybody is on Facebook and every business is on Facebook and stuff like that. So for the most part, that's what I'm talking about. So, but the role of social media when it was developed was to identify and connect with either people that you already know or people that have similar interests with you that you might want to get to know, right? So that's the role of social media in your business too, is identifying, connecting with, and growing relationships with prospects, be that a customer prospect or a coach prospect. So if we leverage it correctly, it's going to accelerate the know, like, and trust factor, which is huge, huge, huge for network marketing. So people, they see you posting regularly, and once you're sharing, like, you figure out what your thing is, obviously you guys know my thing, like I'm a crazy German Shepherd mom and I love to eat and I love to travel. And, so those are the things that I post about. I love my family and working out and being a coach. It's like your coach persona cannot be different from your regular person persona. Like that's a part of you now, and I think a lot of times we try to separate that, and that's where we run into a problem because we don't just weave those together. So, so when you're posting regularly about these things, be it, your coaching business or, I'm posting about being a crazy dog mom and stuff like that, people feel like they get to know you, even if they don't necessarily talk to you every day, So like, for example, people post, do you guys see the videos people post on my wall all the time about German Shepherds? Some of those people, I don't know, like I've never met them in real life. We know each other because of Facebook. But because I'm consistent in posting about the things that are my things, they know that. Somebody sent me a freaking 2 glasses and a necklace that were mermaid themed, because I talk about mermaid stuff sometimes, right? I don't know who sent it, but because I have done the know, like, and trust thing, because I'm regularly posting about these things that are my thing, people feel like they know me, and somebody felt like they knew me well enough to send me that stuff, which is cool. I am totally grateful for that, but that's what I'm talking about. Like, you are going to make these connections with people, and they're going to feel like, I totally relate with that girl. Like I'm a crazy dog mom. That's how Colby and I found each other, was in a crazy dog mom group for German Shepherd moms. And here we are, she's joined our team. So that know, like, and trust factor, if they feel like they know you, then they're going to like you. And if they know you and they like you, then they're going to trust you. And then that equals either, sales for a customer or joining your team. It's as simple as that. You just have to be diligent in putting out there who you are and sharing your journey, and not just throwing up a sweaty selfie and saying, I worked out today, but, connecting that to how that makes you a better person, how coaching makes you a better person, how it improves your life, how it's answered a problem, how drinking your shake, Jen's been sharing a lot about, her heart issues and her IBS issues and stuff like that, and how all of this is weaving in to make her stronger. Stacy had a great post this week about, I don't always feel like doing my workout, but I feel better when I do, even though sometimes it's hard. And people are going to relate to that because, who really wants to work out? Right? I don't really want to. I do it because I know that I should and I have to, but for the most part, there are very few people that are like, yeah, workout, let's do it, you know? So that's very, very relatable. So those kinds of things, you know, are kind of, you know, sharing parts of yourself that people are going to look at and say, hey, me too, you know, or oh, that girl gets it, you know. So even the ugly stuff, even the things that we're kind of embarrassed about, the gremlins and that kind of thing. I don't know if you've noticed the overarching theme in Misfit Legion this week, but it's been about like shining the light on the gremlins. And I don't think that's by accident. I think that's really on purpose. But those are the things, like, can you imagine if I had never shared, you know, my journey, if I was just being very general and like, you know, oh, I worked out today, or oh, I ate this healthy meal today. Yay. Like, no one gives a shit, right? You have to give them a reason to give a shit about why you're saying what you're saying. So when you're sharing those little, you know, things that maybe you're like, oh God, I'm such a freaking hot mess and I could never tell anybody that. But imagine if I had never done that, would you guys, you know, where would you be? Right? If my coach hadn't shared it, where would I be? Because the impact that you're going to make by sharing those things, by doing the know, like, and trust, is going to allow someone, I mean, to change their life in a whole lot of ways, because maybe they're just searching for someone to say that, you know what, okay, she's talking about it, so she must know what she's talking about. Maybe I should reach out to her. Or she's talking about it, so maybe it's not so weird, you know, maybe I'm not so weird and I'm not alone and there's somebody that understands me, and they'll reach out, you know. So we just have to really work that know, like, and trust factor with sharing about who we are and what we're about. And so that is the social media. That's the first step in recruiting, is just getting yourself out there, sharing your story, being unapologetic about it, and realizing that it's bigger than you. You know, it's about more than just you. And I'll tell you what, the hot mess posts that I put up, the ones that I'm like, you know, jittery and kind of have to hit post and run away from the computer or whatever, those without a doubt are the ones that get me the most traction every time. Every single time. More so than look at this beautiful salad, look at my funny selfie, look at my, you know, adorable dog. Those do get a lot of traction. But the ones that really make a connection with people are the ones where I'm like, oh God, how could I possibly talk about this, you know? But we don't have to be perfect. We just have to share who we are, because the people that need to hear it, like all of you guys on my screen right here, you all needed to hear what I in particular had to say, right? Something I said was relevant and stuck out to you guys, and you thought, I'm going to talk to that girl. And here we are. So the same will happen for you. You just have to work that know, like, and trust factor. So I will post in the group, like I said, some scripts that will sort of help with reaching out to people. There's like different scenarios that he sort of goes through with people that you're already familiar with people that you've had like a little bit of contact with. And you can he makes it easy to tweak them. But it's just kind of like icebreaker things. So I'll post that for you guys, and that'll help with you know, when you start with the know, like, and trust, and people start commenting on your things and you're starting to get some traction and some leverage, then you can use these icebreakers to sort of, you know, start a conversation with them. Hey girl, thanks for the love on my post. You know, here's blah, blah, blah. All right. So next, focus and consistency, the next part of the module. So these two things are the keys to massive success, without a doubt. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the book, The Slight Edge. It's a really, really good personal development book. And it basically says that by the time you see results, 90% of your work is done. By the time you see the results that you want to see. And that's not just in business, that's like in life too. Think about when you do a program, right? When you do an exercise program, you don't see six-pack abs in the first day. You see six-pack abs after, you know, 30 days of doing it, right? When you're almost to the end and you're like, hey, I kind of see some muscles popping out there, right? It doesn't happen right away. So same thing with your business. It's kind of like the compound effect. These little actions over time are what's going to add up to big things. But you have to be focused in what your actions are, and you have to be consistent about performing them. all the time. So let's go a little bit deeper into that. He talks about accidental entrepreneurs, which is what a lot of us are, accidental entrepreneurs. And then he talks about accidental leaders. And I'm like, oh my God, that is totally me. Because, you know, you sort of like, you find this thing, you fall in love with the program or the products or whatever. And so you decide to jump on, and then you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything about running a business. I don't know how to build a business. I don't know how to lead people. I don't even know how to lead myself. You know, that was my like existential crisis for a long time, because I very quickly picked up on the know, like, and trust thing. And then people were wanting to join me, and I'm like, what now? You know, great. I'll figure it out, I guess, as I go, you know. So we have a lot of accidental entrepreneurs who get into this and they don't know how to proceed, really. And then there's just all this information coming at you from your upline and YouTube videos and all this other stuff. And you're just like, God, what do I do? I just don't even know. Like, I can see on all your faces that you have felt that at some point. No judgment. I totally felt that way too. But the thing is, most people don't end up succeeding in this business because they quit too soon. It's like they're focused on the results over the activities. So we jump in and we think, you know, we see all these people around us on our team that are like just crushing it every month. And it's like, oh, I've been doing this for a month now and I didn't hit Success Club, so I must really suck at this, right? Or like, I don't really know what to say and I don't really know how to recruit people. So without realizing that it's not about the result, that's not the important part, because those will come. It's about focusing on the activities that are going to get you the results. That's the important part, because if you're not taking activity, you know, if you're not doing the activities, of course nothing's going to happen. So with focus, you you must make your business a priority. And that's different for everybody. I mean, some of us want to be full-time. Some of us just want it as a little side thing to like pay for some extras, you know, so that's a very personal thing. But whatever your level of your business is, you still have to take it seriously, because if you treat it like a hobby, it's going to pay you like a hobby. And how much did those pay, right? Not much. Like, all of my hobbies are non-income produced. I crochet. Woo. You know, so I don't have really like any hobbies that are going to pay me. So if you treat your business like it's just a hobby, and it's like, and every once in a while I'll put some work into this and whatever, then every once in a while it might pay off. But if you're consistently every day showing up, and it doesn't have to be like hours upon hours. It doesn't have to be. What matters is the consistency in doing it every day and the focus of what you're doing. So the only way to have time is to make time. And the only way to do that is by determining specific business hours. This was a mistake that I made early on in my coaching. I would just, you know, pick up the phone whenever and scroll through and maybe answer some messages or do a post or whatever, you know, or I would be like 3 or 4 hours in the evening after I got home from work, and then it would be 10 o'clock and time to go to bed. And I'm like, what actually just happened? I don't feel like I really did anything, but here I am 4 hours later, you know, what the hell? So when you're in those business hours, it has to be focused, specific actions that are going to be your income producing actions. And those income producing actions are contacting, presenting, following up, and signing up people. That's what gets you money. I mean, and I mean, clearly, because you can do all the social media posts that you want. You can read all the personal development you want, do all the workouts that you want. You can do, you know, read all your emails and scroll the news feed aimlessly and do blog posts and whatever. But those aren't what's going to put money in your pocket. What puts money in your pocket is sharing an opportunity with a customer and having them sign up to be your customer. That's what puts the money in your pocket, right? So these non-IPAs are things that a lot of times we think that we're busy and we think we're doing business things. When it comes right down to it, they're just busy work that keep us distracted from the actual thing that we're supposed to be doing, from the actual thing that is going to put money in our pockets. So being very, very focused on that part, on just, getting in your inbox or getting in comments and stuff like that. And that's one thing that I'm going to share with you guys at the end of this call too, is Bob shared a way with us for having conversations without having to be in your inbox so much. So that's coming. I'll definitely tell you guys about that. So exciting. So you guys keep hearing me talk about consistency. So that's one of the other keys. Focus. So you got to have specific, laser vision, especially if you're working full time, because you don't have time to just mess around and just do whatever. We've all got lives to lead. You've got kids to raise, and you've got houses to clean and dinners to cook and all that other stuff. So you must be in the little tiny pockets of time. You must be laser focused on what you're doing. Melanie Mitro, who was the number one coach, she's number one coach 3 years in a row. It's unheard of. It's unprecedented in Beachbody. Nobody's ever done it before. And she's on track to be number one again this year. She built her business working full time, and she would do pockets. She would have 15 or 20 minutes, but she was so laser focused on what she was doing and so consistent about it that she was able, and she didn't hit diamond for 9 months, which is what I tell myself all the time when I was trying to hit diamond. I'm like, it's okay because Melanie didn't hit it for 9 months and now she's number one. But consistency. So ask yourself, are you a part-time or sometime coach? And what I mean by that is, do you show up every day and actually do consistent work on your business, or do you just work it when it's convenient for you or when you feel like it? And that's something you have to be really, really honest with yourself about. Did I, when you lay your head down on the pillow at night, did I do something today that moved my business forward? And like I said, it doesn't have to be hours upon hours. 30 minutes a day is better than no minutes a day, So, okay, think about it like this. You have somebody that works out for 30 minutes a day, 7 days a week, versus you have a person that works out one time a week for 3 to 4 hours. That's the same amount of time that people are spending working out, but who do you think is going to get better results? It's going to be the guy that does it 30 minutes every single day, right? Because it's consistent and it adds up and it adds up, rather than, 4 hours of exhausting yourself and not being able to move for another week. So consistency doesn't have to mean, every single day I've got to spend 3 hours doing this. 30 minutes a day is better than no minutes a day. That's the mantra. Keep that firmly in your head and be very, very focused and consistent in what you're doing. So, because guys, success doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen because you get lucky. It's not pursued. It's attracted by the person that you are and the person that you're becoming. So working a little bit every day toward being better than you were the day before is going to make you better. You are going to get better over time. But if you only work once in a while on getting better, you're just going to stay stuck, So I'm going to give you guys a little assignment, and it's not necessarily, it doesn't have to be for tonight, but I want you at some point let's say by Friday of this week, I want you to give me a date, and we're going to do a 60-day massive action commitment. And what I mean by that, we're going to decide to be committed. Did you know that the Beachbody slogan is decide, commit, succeed? We're going to decide to be committed so that we can be successful. That's the first part. We're going to decide what it is we're willing to give up, because sometimes, you can do the Netflix binge or you can work your business for 30 minutes to an hour. What's more important, right? Is Netflix going to put any money in your pocket? No. It's going to take money out of your pocket, not only for the subscription, but you're probably going to want to eat and you're going to want to drink, and it's going to take electricity to turn on that TV, so you can do 30 minutes of Netflix, or you can do 30 minutes of biz work. Which one's going to move you forward, you know? So decide to commit, decide what you're willing to give up, decide how much time per week you're willing to spend on your business, just in a general week. It doesn't have to be like, you know, every week I'm going to spend 17 hours, but, you know, just decide how much time you have to dedicate, and then we can figure out how to break that down, and then schedule your business hours. So let me show you guys my, I have an Erin Condren planner, and I have one of the hourly ones. And I only have Erin Condren because it was a treat yourself, because I hit a big goal in my business, because they're expensive. But you can get these like at Michael's and different places like that. They're super cheap. And so see how I have like these little blocks outlined here? Those are things, those are commitments that I have to do. Some of them are just workouts. See, I've got yoga in here in the morning because I want to do yoga, and I've got, you know, the workout that I was performing. I have calls, I have stuff like that. So what I'll do is I sit down on Sunday evening and I get out my planner, and whatever format works for you. I like the hourly ones because I like to know kind of like to the minute what it is that I'm doing, because I'm super anal that way. But so I'll write down, I'll block out anything that I know that my time is already committed. So that includes my workouts, because that's a non-negotiable. We should be doing our workouts every day, right? So schedule it in like it's a meeting. Let me go back to when I was working full time to show you guys how that lined out. So when I was working full time and I had to figure out where my time was going, see how I have this like blocked off right here? That was when I was going to be at work. So definitely I can't schedule any business time in there because I'm working from 8 to 5. Now this was my lunch hour, so I would schedule in a power hour some days, you know, if I had an hour to check messages and, you know, do a social media post or something like that, or follow up on messages that I had already sent. So you block out the things that you already know you have a commitment for. This happened to be during basketball season, so I knew in the evenings I was going to be at the gym from this time to this time. So once you start doing that and you put in the non-negotiables, as far as like, you know, if you have church one evening, like if you have a Bible study, or if one of your kids has dance class, like Kayla's little girl has dance class, whatever the things are that you already know where your time is committed to, write them down in here. And then you see like the little pockets of time where you're free. So that's how you can start scheduling in. Like I knew in my lunch break, I wasn't having lunch with anyone. So I was going to do a power hour in there because I was busy in the evening and I wasn't going to be able to get it in. So same thing, you know, with workouts and stuff like that. I have my workout in here. And so once you do that, it gives you a visual on, you know, where your time is and where your little pockets of time are to either work your business, do your food prep. This is handy even for just life in general. You know, if you've got chores to do, like Kayla has an awesome chore list that she follows every week. I don't know if you guys saw that on her Insta story the other night, but you know, she's got like one day she does the bathrooms, one day she does the bedrooms, one day she does the kitchen. So you can plan out your life, and it doesn't take very long. This takes me maybe like 20 minutes on a Sunday to sit down and see what my whole week looks like. And so it makes it that much easier to find those little pockets of time, so you're not scrambling around going, what did I do? You know, or when do I do this? You can just find your little pockets of time. It makes it so much easier. So, all right, now that we've talked about that, let's talk a little bit about the basic recruiting principles. So we've got three kind of concepts with this. The first one is don't be a movie trailer. And what I mean by that is, okay, so you, what's a movie that's out right now? I don't even know. Like when Beauty and the Beast was coming out, right? And it's this, the like live version of Beauty and the Beast. I was totally geeking, like fangirling. So like, oh my God, that was my childhood thing, right? But trying to explain that trailer to someone, they would just get a glazed over look in their eyes and be like, what in the world, right? Like if you try to explain what you're doing, there's nothing like being able to visualize it, right? For them to actually see what you saw, even if you have really good descriptive terms. So in doing this, when you're, talking to someone, it's so much easier to use different kinds of third-party tools to explain it better than you can. Now that can be like videos that Beachbody does. There's all kinds of YouTube videos that you can use to explain about the workout programs, and they have kind of like little trailers for those. That could be handing out a sample of Shakeology if somebody's never tried it before, sending it to them with one of the recipe things. They actually have on the website like these calendars that are 30 days of Shakeology recipes. So if somebody's kind of on the fence about that, I mean, obviously we have the sampler packets now, but sometimes I'll just mail somebody one of those with a Shakeology packet and, check in with them or whatever. So there's all kinds of third-party tools that you can use from your company that makes it so much easier because you don't have to spend all your time. Because what ends up happening is we like word vomit a lot because we're excited, and then people just sort of glaze over and lose interest, and they don't, So better to summarize. And then, so our only job really with the whole recruiting process, whether that's customers or coaches, is to invite them to look at this presentation. Hey, do you have a couple of minutes? Here's something that I've been working on and I'm pretty excited about it and I think it's great. Like, would you have a couple minutes to watch a video? Or if somebody's, talking to you about a workout program and they're like, oh, well, that sounds kind of neat. Oh, great. Would you have like 3 minutes to watch a short video that kind of explains it? And then you don't have to spend the time. It's already done for you, and it's done very well because there's a marketing team that, gets paid to make these things. So that goes with the second concept, which is say less to more people. So by using these third-party tools, whether it's, videos that Beachbody puts out, samples, whatever, there's all kinds of like PDFs in our Coach Online office. There's product training guides. If you go under news and training, I think it is, or sales and maybe it's sales and marketing, and there's like product training guides, and there's all kinds of stuff that you can say. If somebody says, well, what's in Shakeology? Let me send you a PDF that shows, the ingredient breakdown. It's really pretty awesome. And then they can see what else in it. And it explains, nobody knows what ashwagandha is, but it explains, oh, it's an adaptogen that helps your muscles get better. You don't have to type all that out. It saves you so much time. So you've got more time to reach out to more people. So there's this scientific concept called the law of large numbers. And it basically says repeated action over time almost always produces the desired result. So it's a scientific concept that the more you talk to people, the better, the better your chances of having somebody that says yes. So, I'm sorry, my computer was doing something really weird there for a second. So that too will allow for like an emotional detachment from the outcome, because a lot of times what happens is that you have like, 3 or 4 people that you're kind of talking to, and one of them says no, and what happens? Your confidence takes a total nosedive, and you're like, oh my God, well, I've only got 3 people, and I was really hoping that one of them would say yes, but they said no. And, like and then you just go down this rabbit hole of like, oh, it's terrible. And so by having larger numbers, for a fact that you're going to get more. And then, it makes it easier to take that emotional attachment away, because when you have high prospect numbers, you're like, okay, I've got, 10 people that I'm talking to instead of 3 people that I'm talking to. You don't even have time to get emotional about it because there's other stuff that you need to do. So, we can't like take it so personally. Our job is just to sort and not to sell. So we just kind of sort out the people that are interested in either what we have to offer as a customer or what we have to offer as a business opportunity. We present the information to them and they make the decision. We're just there to answer questions. And, everybody has like a time, right? Everybody has, Bob explains it as a 12 o'clock, and 12 o'clock is when you're exactly ready, right? You're ready to do this. All of you guys have had your 12 o'clock moment. Some people are at 3, some people are at 7, some people are at 10, some people are like at 11:58 and they look like they're at 12. And so you bring them in and they take a little bit, you know, it's like they're not at 12. But the thing is, everybody that you know has a 12 o'clock moment. It's just your job to be diligent in being right in front of them via social media so that when their time comes, you're what's at the forefront of their mind and not something else. And then being diligent in building a relationship and following up with them. And that's building a relationship, you know, obviously via one-on-ones, but also building a relationship, you know, with the stuff that you're putting out there and the things that they see. Because like I said, you know, people are constantly posting on my wall or sending me things, and I don't know them per se, but they feel like they know me because I'm putting myself out there. So you just have to, and then, you know, they'll reach out to you. I mean, there are people that have reached out to me and I've never really like talked to them before, other than, you know, a couple Facebook messages here and there, commenting on their pictures or whatever. And they're like, oh, well, I've been thinking for a while about XYZ, and you were the first person I thought of. I think I'm ready now. You know, and that's just because I've been consistent in putting it out there. So when they think of fitness, they think of me. When they think of healthy eating, they think of me, you know? So same thing for you guys. You just got to put it out there and be diligent about that. Okay, this is like getting so close to the recording time. Yeah, I need to upgrade to the pro thing so we can just talk as much as we want. So, okay, I want to share with you really quickly a social media tip that he gave us that I want you guys to try this week. It's called the 10-10 formula. And basically what it is, before you're going to post, rather than using a third-party scheduler, because Facebook is very unkind to that, you go in for 10 minutes before you're going to put your post up and interact. And that's, you know, leaving comments and likes, but Facebook will actually penalize you if you're just scrolling and liking. It knows how long you should possibly take to look at something, and it dings you. If you're just going through and scrolling and hitting like, it will actually lower your reach. So you have to be intentional, you know, especially if there are like people that you're stalking that you kind of like, oh, I would love to have them on my team, or I'd love to have them as a customer. Specifically go to their page and, you know, comment on their photo, you know, interact with them and stuff, because that almost guarantees that when you do post 10 minutes later, it's going to come up in their newsfeed. And then do your post, whether it's a live video, and that's something too, Bob really, really highly, you know, fosters, like we need to go live a lot, because it gives people an extra level of like human interaction. So, and that's something that'll get easier. And then for the 10 minutes after you post, be super engaged in the comments. This is going to cut off here in just a minute, so I'll post more about this in the group. But 10 minutes before, go in and engage with people, put your post up, and then 10 minutes after, be diligent about anybody that comments, answering them right away, because that keeps it going. And ask them a question. If they comment, figure out some way to ask them a question. So, okay, before this cuts off, I will post all this stuff in the group. You guys, by Friday, give me your 60-day massive action. Pick your window of time when you're going to start your 60 days. It doesn't have to be right now, tomorrow, but by Friday, I want to know a date that you're going to start your 60 days, and we're going to map out a plan, okay? All right, you guys, and message me if you have any questions, all right? Talk to you guys later.